My name is Cassie. I just moved on from a relationship. My ex-boyfriend Brian just disappeared without saying anything to me. After 2 months, I finally got a date with a guy named Peter, and this is how it went. My phone buzzed. I quickly finished my work and grabbed the phone heading to bed. A new text from Peter. I felt my face flush as I read it.
Do you want to meet me? This Tuesday?
I did a little happy dance and texted back right away. I'd been waiting for him to ask me out ever since we started chatting. I know I could have just taken the initiative, but I was too shy. Lucky for me, he had the guts to make the first move.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I texted him back. We texted back and forth about where to meet and what to do. We settled on grabbing coffee and maybe dinner afterward. I texted my best friend Sarah and filled her in on my upcoming date.
I'm so excited, Sarah. I can't wait to meet him.
She seemed a lot more skeptical than me.
How long have you two been texting? Do you even know anything about him? What if he's not who he says he is?
I know you're worried he might be some creep. But it was also you who told me to get back out there after Brian ghosted me and disappear. So, come on. I'm just doing what you said. Besides, it's so cliché to murder someone you met online.
I laughed.
I promise to text you when I meet him and keep you posted. So you'll know I'm still alive.
Fine. Just be careful, okay? And don't do anything you're not comfortable with.
We said our goodbyes. And I spent the rest of the night obsessing over what to wear on the date and rereading our old messages so I could remember his favorite band, his favorite movie, and how much I'd shared about myself. I was so nervous before our date. I'd put on a cute dress, something not too revealing, but not too boring either. Half an hour before we were supposed to meet, I headed down to the park and started waiting for him. I kept checking my phone and feeling the urge to bail. What if he really was a psycho? Or even worse, what if there was zero chemistry in person? I tried to push my worries aside and saw a guy about my age with brown hair walk up to me.
Hi, are you Cassie?
He asked nervously.
Yeah. And you're Peter? It's great to finally meet you.
We exchanged an awkward hug and decided to walk to his car. Talking to Peter was effortless, and I quickly started to feel comfortable around him. He was really funny, and even asked if I'd been worried about him being a creep. I told him about Sarah's warnings about meeting people online. He laughed and said to me,
Don't worry, I didn't bring my axe. It wouldn't fit in my trunk.
He joked. After we had our coffee, we decided to skip dinner and grab a few drinks instead. Peter got drunk pretty quickly, and I playfully teased him about being the most lightweight guy I'd ever met.
I swear,
He rambled on.
I normally don't get drunk this easily. I guess it's because it's been a long day. You know, I've been looking forward to meeting you, so work dragged on forever today.
I smiled and told him I'd felt the same way. It soon became clear that I needed to get Peter home. I didn't mind helping him get home, and it's not like I was planning on sleeping with him or anything. It just felt like the right thing to do. He lived a couple of blocks from the bar, and we finally made it there. He struggled with the keys when he tried to open the door, but managed to stumble through the house. I couldn't help but chuckle a bit and close the door behind me. I made sure it was locked before I walked into the bedroom. I saw he collapsed onto the bed. Peter was struggling to keep his eyes open, but I was sure he saw the razor I pulled out from my oversized purse. His face went pale when he saw the razor in my hand.
I know you didn't expect this. Most of you guys never do. But it's just so much easier to find people online. Besides, Who'd ever be afraid of a petite woman in a cute dress with flowers on it? Now you've learned that maybe you should have been, but it's a little too late for that.
I smiled at him as he tried to scream.
Oh, and about your drink. I drugged it. You might not be able to move or scream, but I bet you'll feel everything I'm gonna do to you.
I couldn't help but laugh at his pathetic state and got to work.
Everyone had a crush in high school. For me, the person who made my stomach flip was Penny Winkle. Penny have been one of the goth kids. Most of the time I saw her, she was alone. She wasn't the typical crush. She has straight, jet black hair set against pale, creamy skin. Dark, intense clothing. Penny was a tiny girl that pulled me into her orbit without ever knowing it, or so I thought. We'd only really interacted once in the 8th grade. After that, we didn't talk for 4 years. Then everything changed when we were in high school. It was just a regular Monday. I saw her walking toward me, just like she did between every 3rd and 4th period. That's when she'd call out for me.
James, I need you to go with me.
Okay. Where are we going?
Just follow me.
I followed her to the back of our school. She turned back and told me.
I need you, James.
The look in her dark brown eyes was pleading. I realized that it was the first time we'd actually made eye contact.
It's about my boyfriend. You know Brent.
Brent Harwood was a douchey basketball player who'd already graduated but clearly still liked hanging around high school girls. Rumor had it that he was doing very well on his college football team. Penny drew in a rattling breath.
He's dangerous, James, and very strong. I don't know what to do. The police can't do anything until after a crime is committed. And my parents, they don't care about me.
She flashed a helpless look.
I'm desperate. I know it's dangerous. But will you help me?
She stared at me. Then her face broke. I'm desperate, James. She got close to me, leaving a reverent few inches between us.
Can I trust you?
She asked again. I eagerly nodded. As my pulse thundered, Penny pulled out an axe under her miniskirt.
Put it in.
She whispered, her voice pleading.
What do you mean?
I was so confused. She gave me the axe.
Penny, this isn't right.
I gasped.
Just slide it into my thigh. Not too deep, but enough so that I feel it.
My hands trembled with genuine fear. I shook my head.
I can't. This doesn't make any sense.
If you stab me, I'll kiss you. But I'll tell everyone that you attacked me with your creepy axe if you back out now.
The fear now became absolute. I had no choice but to obey her. Her muffled scream brought me back to my senses. Looking down in horror, I saw that the blade had cut an inch deep into her thigh.
Thank you.
Then she pulled it out with a sickening sound. I stared at the gaping hole. It wasn't bleeding anymore.
Still hurts like
She huffed between gasping breaths.
I'll be fine though.
My legs were too shaky. I collapsed on the ground. She leaned her head at me, giving me a kiss. I can't believe this is how my first kiss went.
You can go now, James. You don't want any part of what comes next.
I froze for a bit and walked away as Penny gazed at her cut. It was awkward, confusing, scary, frustrating, and lacked any sense of closure. That would have been the end of it. if it weren't for the fact that it was the beginning.
James!
My mom called me the next morning.
I'll be right down.
I grumbled.
The police are here, and they want to talk with you.
Her tone wavered on the edge of true panic. I felt the chill running through my veins. Slowly, I walked down the stairs to find a pair of grim-looking officers. They were speaking with my mother in the living room.
Hello, James. We need to have a word. Do you know Brent Harwood?
My face turned pale. I felt like I need to say something, but I can't. The second cop stepped closer.
I'll take that as a yes. Which leads me to my next question. What can you tell me about the fact that he was stabbed in the thigh yesterday afternoon?
He may never walk again.
The first officer added.
His basketball career was destroyed in just a few seconds.
I shook my head, grasping for words.
I'm sorry, but I've got no idea about any of this.
Icy fear worked its way into my body.
Is that so?
The second cop asked, leaning closer still.
If that's the case, how come the only name he's spoken since the attacker was your name?